A motion to open the meeting?
I move so.
Second.
Okay. All right. We're starting the meeting at 6:40,
So you want me to read
and
this?
we'll run it to 7 o'clock. Yes.
Okay. So today we're being recorded by HCAM TV. And, no, we're live. We're live on HCAM TV. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the Hopkinton Biosafety Regulation. Briefly, as stated in the regulation, the proposed regulation, in order to safeguard the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the town of Hopkinton, the Town of Hopkinton Board of Health hereby promulgates this regulation governing the use of all biologic agents in town pursuant to the authority granted to the Board of Health.
General law,
General law,
Chapter 111,
Chapter 111,
Section 31.
Section 31. And the applicability of this regulation, it applies to the use of all biological agents in town, including but not limited to research or manufacturing. Any person currently engaged in the initiation in or initiating said use at the time of the adoption of this regulation shall apply for a permit. And so the purpose of this meeting is to hear from the citizens who are engaged in this regulation and answer questions as we can. The conduct of the meeting is that each person must identify themselves, and they can speak once in support or in opposition. So there are several parts to this regulation. You have to read each one of these?
Yeah. So we have to go through the...
Okay, so the order of proceedings, presentation by the board as to the reason why the board is contemplating this regulation, comments from those in support or in opposition, if any, answers and questions from the board concerning the comments of support or opposition, if any, additional comments or questions that are not repetitive, the board discussion as to the need for additional information, if any, announcement of the board's decision, if any, motion for continuance or closing, and adjournment. Yeah. So for the conduct, each citizen must identify themselves. Each person may speak only once in support of their opposition, All comments and questions must be addressed to the board. If there are questions, they will be noted by the Board of Health, who will determine those which it finds pertinent to the matter. The Board of Health Chairman, me, Rick Jacobs, may limit repetitive comments. So now into the
Ready to proceed.
proceeding to the hearing. So there are several parts to this regulation. I've read the first two sections. There's several sections beyond that, including prohibition of certain agents, the permits, a Hopkinton Biosafety Committee, reporting, notifications of violations, and the penalties if they're not followed. So, Sean, did you want to discuss any of that?
So, yeah, the Chamber of Commerce had approached the Hopkinton Health Department and the leaders in the community and requested that the town develop a biosafety regulation. So after that discussion, it was decided that it would be easier for the Board of Health to put together a regulation and pass it and oversee it under our regulatory purview as opposed to making a bylaw and sending it to the town meeting. So what we've done is we've worked with several communities that have biosafety regulations in place now. We put together the version that was presented in the agenda for this meeting, and then Dr. Jacobs and I had a discussion after this was posted and identified 17 edits that we wish to introduce tonight. We can go through those. Those are highlighted in the form. If the board chooses to address these editorial edits, we can vote to accept those, and then, absent any comment from the audience, we can
Vote to approve or
vote to approve or proceed to an approval. So, do you want, I could read through the...
Yeah.
So, the initial edits to the biosafety regulation consist of adding the letter B in definition biological agent number 3. We defined what BOH means, Hopkinton Board of Health. We provided definitions to clarify what the different biosafety levels mean so that anyone from the public that picks up the regulation could read through and easily understand what the 4 levels of biosafety labs that there are. There was another edit where under definitions of Hopkinton Biosafety Committee, this will become section 19 of the Hopkinton Board of Regulations. It had said 19.6. And then we did a review over who actually, we did a quick review with the attorneys just to verify that under this regulation, you have the director of the health department and the board have the authority, and then the Hopkinton Biosafety Commission will be the organizing board that reviews documents together with us and will be a voting organizational and review board that provides us direction as to how to act on a regulatory basis. So we added clarification in areas where we thought necessary, where it be the director or the Hopkinton Biosafety Board or the director and the Board of Health, where they should have jurisdiction and be asked to perform reviews or inspections. So that is present in section 7, A4, where we added director or Hopkinton Biosafety Committee or allow reasonable inspections of facilities and records by the director of Hopkinton Biosafety Commission. Under section 8, under professional advisory assistance, we added the director and Board of Health retain the final responsibility for enforcement. We authorize and retain assistance from professional consultants when needed, and the director and or Board of Health in utilizing professional consultants may be assessed using the consultants if there are costs associated with review of the documentation provided by the permittee, we could assign those costs back to the permittee requesting a biosafety permit. Under section 9, we added that the director or health department would be in charge of keeping meeting minutes. We added, for clarification, in section 13, number 3, if there was an accident, and we said involving a biologic agent, that needs to be reported to the director or the Hopkinton Biosafety Committee. And then under section 14, we added just some clarification that enforcement of the regulation shall be by the director, Board of Health, or its designated agent. The director, Board of Health, or its designated agent may require any permit holder at any time to, or schedule set by the Board of Health to comply with water effluent or soil testing, et cetera. Under section D, the director, Board of Health, or its designated agent may issue written orders. And then under section E, that the director or Board of Health may revoke, suspend, or modify any permit if there are significant violations. Then, in general, it's a pretty straightforward regulation. It's been, again, reviewed by legal counsel, and I don't know, do you have any?
No, I think we're using the model of Cambridge, which is a hotbed of life sciences, and we have other relationships with them in terms of using them as kind of a template for how we fashion this regulation. So, and Cambridge has delved into these problems in their community, and it's appropriate for us to now make sure that we protect our citizens here by doing the same on their behalf. There is a permit involved. There is a cost to it. There is a penalty involved if you do not fulfill what the permit requires, and that's detailed here, and it's published obviously on the town website in our department section. So at this point, I'd ask if there's any questions from the audience.
Absent any audience other than another Board of Health employee.
Mm-hmm. Right, and if there is no questions, then we could take a vote on the document as written.
Yeah, we can take a vote to adopt the edited version first.
Okay.
We get a vote on that, and then as we started at 6:40, if no one pops in within 20 minutes, and I should note that we were delayed in starting because another member that was scheduled to attend was unable at the last minute. So we're just running the same length of time. No one has come here, in the time that we are from when we had originally intended to start to now. So I say we give it 5 minutes, or we go through the vote, we give it 5 additional minutes. If no one comes in those 5 additional minutes, then we can then vote to adopt.
So do you want to make the motion?
So I'd like to request a motion to adopt the edited version of the Hopkinton Biosafety Regulation. So do I have a first?
I approve. Yes. I approve.
And I second.
And then we will wait 5 minutes, and then at the end of the 5 minutes, we will have a vote to adopt the regulation, the edited regulation as written.
Okay.
And I would note that it is worth noting that we do not have any biosafety 1 or any biosafety level facilities in town that are greater than a biosafety 2 at this point. So, and I haven't seen any plans come up requesting a biosafety 3 or 4, but just in case, that's why we wanted to get a regulation on the books. Should add, a thank you to HCAM for accommodating the delay. It's very thankful.
Great timing. Okay.
Good. Go look at that.
Thank you. He just had to get close to the sensor. Actually, I think time is up. What do you got?
Halloween.
I got about 20 seconds left. All right, it's 7 o'clock. The meeting has been open for 20 minutes. So could I have a motion to adopt the edited biosafety or Hopkinton biosafety regulation as presented?
Yes, I move so.
I second.
All right. So it has been adopted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.